Warm weather is finally here in the Buckeye State. With summer approaching, Ohioans are getting outside to enjoy some of the beautiful sights the Buckeye State has to offer. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources is responsible for maintaining that beauty on more than 590,000 acres of land, including 74 state parks and nearly 300 forests, nature preserves, and wildlife areas. Jim Zehringer is the individual in charge of this important operation, and Director Zehringer joins us for today's Caucus Conversation. Director, thanks so much for joining us today.
Honored to be here, John.
Before we get into some of the specific questions, I think it is important to point out the Ohio Department of Natural Resources covers a broad spectrum of important issues here in Ohio. Just give us a brief overview of all the things you have to deal with every day.
Well, first of all, Ohio is blessed with an abundance of natural resources and many different natural resources, from water, minerals, public lands, and so it's just an honor to be a part of this agency. It's a big agency. We have 9 divisions, from geological survey to mineral resources management, which is our coal and our aggregates, to oil and gas, to parks, to wildlife, to watercraft. So we're a very, very busy organization, and there's a lot of things going on in the state right now.
Well, you know, we talk a lot about this state, jobs and economic development, and a big part of that is quality of life, and that's really where ODNR comes in.
Oh, it sure does. There's no better place to take your family to one of our 74 state parks, where we have we're only one of 7 in the nation have free admittance. So you can go to any of our parks and hike for free, fish for free if you have a license, swim, boat. If you have a horse, you can horseback for free. So there's many opportunities, and it is a great way to spend with your family, and it also helps with economic development.
Well, that was a big number that I remember reading on the website, your website. There were 2.3 million people, I think, last year that spent at least one night in one of our state parks. That's a big number.
That is a big number, and thanks to Senate President Faber and of course Governor Kasich and the General Assembly and everyone for helping us with this capital budget, that we're going to be able to make some great, needly improvements.
Well, let's talk about that. Okay. Somewhere around nearly almost $100 million was put was given for improvements, and you spent the last couple of weeks traveling around the state. You mentioned Senator Faber. You were up in his neck of the woods at Grand Lake St. Mary's to talk a little bit about some of the investment that's being made to improve our state parks. Talk a little bit about what you're looking at there.
Well, we received about $88.5 million specifically for our parks, and then you could add another $40 million for our dams throughout the state of Ohio, so a little over $130 million going into our park system. But Senator Faber and I both grew up in Grand Lake St. Mary's and live in the Grand Lake St. Mary's region, so we picked that part of the state to really kick off, especially around Grand Lake St. Mary's State Park, where we really do need some upgrades to our electric, to some of our shower houses. We're going to add a little waterfall type thing. I forget what they're actually called, but the water kind of pulses up through the ground for kids.
Well, like a splash park or something like that.
Yeah, splash pond, splash park. And so we're going to be doing these upgrades in that area, and it was nice to kick that off there. And then we went over to Indian Lake, and we're going to be doing some upgrades at Indian Lake State Park too. One of our busiest state parks as far as the lake is concerned. And so we're going to be looking at also upgrading some of the campsites there. And there's an all-purpose building that some of the volunteers put up, that we're going to put heating and air conditioning in that building. And again, shower houses, restrooms, these are all very important.
Salt Fork is another big park. Is that our largest state park, I think?
Yeah, so in acreage, it is our largest. I think it's right at 15,000 acres. And there we're going to be looking at a marina that hasn't had many upgrades for many, many years. It has about 103 slips, boat slips, that are booked every year, sold out every year. And so we're going to be looking at redoing some of the decking on that, and the concession area around the marina, we're going to upgrade that.
One of the things that I think is great about this is you talk about all these different upgrades, and it's all being done for the benefit and enjoyment of Ohioans. Mm-hmm. And I think it's great that you're actually soliciting input from Ohioans on the types of improvements that need to be made in parks, correct?
That's right. This is their money. And so we have it that you can come to our website, tell us a state park that you like and the improvements you would like to see, and submit those. And we're reading every one of them. I believe we're over 2,500 right now in the couple weeks we had that website up. But it's amazing how a lot of these suggestions are mirroring what we want to do. And so, but we're going to listen to the public, and then we're also going to try to do this with minimal interruption to the marina or to the campsite, that we can not really do too much damage while the camping season's going on.
If you're interested, by the way, in giving a suggestion to ODNR, the website address is parks.ohiodnr.gov/improvements. Is there going to be a timetable on this in terms of who gets what, when, or is it just, again, you mentioned not wanting to mess with timing, but is this just going to kind of be an ongoing thing based on suggestions that come in?
Suggestions that come in, and we have some priority. We have some top priority projects. So we're going to have some priorities, but we're going to look at these surveys. We're going to prioritize. There's a lot of responsibility that goes with this money. We take it very seriously, and we're going to make sure that these projects are well engineered and they're done right.
Our largest natural resource, I guess if you want to call it that, would be Lake Erie. Ohio has, in Lake Erie and in a lot of our streams and rivers and lakes, kind of a growing algae problem. We tried to address that with some recent legislation to help curb this problem. But you're leading a number of initiatives to kind of cut down on some of these nutrients that are getting into our water supply. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Farmers, 35 years ago, we asked them to reduce phosphorus, and they did. But now we're seeing these issues that pop up. So thanks to Senator Gardner, we're doing some edge of field monitoring. We are doing things like cover crops, variable rate technology, everything to help reduce phosphorus. And then in this last capital budget, there was $10 million put in the Healthy Lake Erie Fund to look at alternate disposal sites for the dredging material. There's a lot of conventional wisdom that says maybe the dredging material is helping create some of these problems when you do the interlake disposal. So thanks to Senator Gardner, we're going to be looking at that and helping create some new wetlands along the Lake Erie shoreline.
By making these changes, you're talking about reducing the phosphorus, but what does that do for the benefit to farmers when it comes to raising crops or raising cattle?
Well, a lot of these requirements and a lot of these suggestions are the 4 Rs. And Senate Bill 150 that Senator Haidt and Senator Peterson both championed through the Senate was another example of, if farmers know that they can do soil testing, they can look. We're seeing some results that 50% of the people that soil test don't need any phosphorus at all. And so that saves a farmer a lot of money also. But the whole idea is keeping nutrients on the land, in the soil, and not in the streams and rivers that eventually get into Lake Erie or Grand Lake St. Mary's.
Director, there are a number of other things I would love to talk with you about. We're kind of running out of time already, but we definitely would like to have you back. There's hunting, there's oil and gas, there's a number of other things. So we hope that you'll come back and spend some time with us.
Come back anytime, John.
Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for joining us as well. As always, you can keep up to date with us every day on our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. The address is @OhioSenateGOP, or visit our website, ohiosenate.gov/Republicans. Thanks for watching.